Loving Country Girl, and we are going to be talking today about some of my favorite essential oil reference guides. So how do I learn so much about essential oils? It's really hard because there's a lot of, unfortunately, misinformation out there, and I'm constantly reading and trying to educate myself so that I can help others and make sure that I can give the best advice possible. A lot of times I'm just speaking off of what I personally have experienced, but then there'll be somebody who comes up to me, you know, one of my people that have enrolled under me, and asks me about something that I might not know. So I will then go in and start researching. But where do I research? I don't advise going to Pinterest for advice, because a lot of times I've seen some bad advice on there. I saw a couple where they were talking about putting tea tree in an allergy, or what do they call it? I don't remember. They were ingesting tea tree oil. Tea tree oil is not one of our oils that we ingest. And I was kind of frustrated because I'm like, that's not true. We shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be telling people that. It's not something you should be ingesting. So there's a couple different things, you know, reasons why I just don't recommend going to Pinterest. Now, Pinterest has some great ideas, and it might give you a jumping off point. So I will do that sometimes. I'll kind of Google it and get kind of like a basis and say, okay, well, these are some of the oils they're recommending. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to research why these oils would be recommended and if I agree with those recommendations. So that's kind of how I will go about it if I do use Pinterest. For things like diffuser blends or things like that, I think it's a great idea. But you just always want to be careful and double check with a reliable source when you do choose to go there to look for information. So a couple of the places I go. First, I have the Young Living app, or I'm sorry, not the Young Living, the reference guide for essential oils by Abundant Health for You. And it is absolutely amazing when it comes to reference guides. Let me open it up real quick. So this is how it will look on your phone, and it gives you a guide as well as applications, singles, and your blends, as well as some notes. So the great thing is you can either go in there. So like I said, if I went in there and I said, oh, it's recommending this kind of oil and this kind of oil for this issue, I can go into the single oil, I can find those oils, or if it was a blend, and I can click on it and I can say, okay, and I can read about what the essential oil is, its history, how you can use it, its benefits, and there are some ideas and recipes as well in there. So that's one awesome way to do that. The other way you can use this one is by going to the guide. You go to the guide, and if you go to the guide, it actually has a bunch of the different elements. So you can have, you know, acne, click on acne and see what oils it recommends for acne. You could go on, trying to find some that I can actually say that aren't FDA wrong. So, there's a lot on here that normally we cannot say, and that's why when you're looking at these, this is different because it's going through a different avenue, but I cannot recommend it and say that one. So it's a great thing to have on there. So let's say athlete's foot. I think we can say athlete's foot. So it gives you a recommendation of different oils that you can use to help with athlete's foot, some blends and some singles, and then it has the T and the A for topical or topically applied, I think is what it is. I'd have to go back and look at the thing. Topical, aromatic, and ingestion are the different things. T, A, and I. So it goes through and it gives you a bunch of different recipes and different ideas. So this is a great one. I love this one because a lot of times when I'm out and about, if somebody contacts me with a question, I have a reference guide right here ready to go. And I can say, hold on, let me see. And I can look and see what they recommend. And then I can screenshot it and send it right over to them. So it's an amazing, amazing, valuable resource. It's $6.99, but it is so worth it. It's a one-time fee and it's awesome. One of the other great ones by Life Science Publishing is the Essential Oil Pocket Reference. Now this is just the pocket reference, so it's actually not as big as the desk reference. It goes through all of your essential oils and it kind of lists it the same way. You can look them up by ailment, you can look it up by essential oils, you can just research. It talks about different techniques, ways to use them, applying them, diluting them. So it's an amazing reference for your essential oils. Now if you want to dig in a little deeper, then you go with, the big daddy, that is the desk reference. Now the desk reference is going to cover everything from your supplements and all of that, as well as your essential oils. But this one, like I said, it's only going to be your essential oils And then this one's going to cover all of your other ones. And it has full color, and it goes into a lot of detail, how you can use it, how you can apply it, and different recommendations for different items. So it is an amazing reference, and I think this is by far like your biggest must-have if you are using Young Living essential oils, to have this, because this will give you a world of information. So I love these ones. Obviously, this isn't something I can carry around all the time, so that's why it's kind of nice. But this, again, only covers your essential oils. It doesn't go into your supplements and things like that. Gentle Babies is a must-have, I think, for any pregnant mamas or anybody with babies and young kids. This is a great book that talks about essential oils for pregnancy, childbirth, infants, and young children. It has some great recipes that, again, I cannot technically say. And if you look in the back in this testimony section where the moms are talking, there's some amazing stuff. And again, I think part of that might be because they're giving their testimonies kind of deal. They're allowed to say a little bit more than if it was actually being written as, this is what you're doing, you know. So I think that's an amazing opportunity to kind of learn a little more and dig a little deeper. But it has some great ideas, and as well as how to use essential oils safely around babies and young children and pregnant women. So Gentle Babies is a must-have. I picked this one off Life Science Publishing. It is one you can pick up off of Amazon, and it's a great resource to have for anybody who has small kids or babies or is pregnant. The other one that I've really enjoyed is the Chemistry of Essential Oils. This is definitely, it's Chemistry of Essential Oils made even easier. Which it's not very easy. So this one has been really fun. At first when I looked at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks like a kid's school book, right? And that's perfect because it makes it a lot easier. But it goes through and it just explains everything in a lot more understandable way. I can't necessarily repeat what it says because it's still kind of confusing in my mind, like how to repeat that, but at the same time, like, it makes sense. Like, I am a visual person, so a lot of the little drawings that they do and the way they write things really helps me out. Like you can see, like, I've highlighted a bunch of areas, you know, just like this whole page is awesome, you know. And this one was talking more about, you know, what does natural mean, and what, you know, as far as like that talks about how our government, you know, what can be considered natural versus, you know, what can be considered organic. And that's kind of just talking about in general, you know, how things are labeled. So it's really interesting. There was a couple other really great things in here that just really had me going, wow, this is so cool. Like, that makes sense, you know. I mean, I again can't really be sure how to repeat that to somebody, especially staying FDA compliant, but at the same time, it's really amazing. So here was one of the things that was really cool, was the essential oils in the United States. In the United States, there are no standards for therapeutic grade essential oils set by our government agencies. So do you guys understand what that means? Like, that means, there's a fly bug in me. That means that we have no regulations. So when you see these bottles that are at Walmart or sold by other companies that say 100% pure therapeutic grade essential oils, there's no regulation to stop them. They can put that on there because there's no regulations for that. It's up to the companies to be ethical and put quality products in those bottles. And when you look at Young Living and their seed to seal, and how they test and how you can go visit the farms. I get to go visit the farms here in a couple days and see where they harvest and see where they distill and see where they do all of this. And to me, that's absolutely incredible. So I am so happy that I've chosen this company because of this fact that there are no standards for therapeutic grade essential oils in the United States. In France, they have an organization that regulates the quality of their essential oils. And in the rest of, let's see, it says in Switzerland, which kind of covers the rest of Europe, they also have standards that are set, but they're kind of just a minimum. They're not as, you know, as strict. The French ones are actually the most strict ones. So the great thing to realize though is Young Living actually upholds to higher standards than both the French government standards and the Switzerland standards. So it's kind of cool because like France normally is considered the highest standard when it comes to, you know, their regulations and stuff set by a government, but yet Young Living adheres to higher standards than even that, which is awesome because we don't have standards in the US. So I think that's really cool that they actually are, you know, willing to do that and to adhere to high standards, because as you guys know, like, unfortunately, natural, organic, and all of those things are not regulated, and our beauty products and beauty industries have not had many regulations done, and we need more regulations. I don't like to say that because normally I'm like, no, but at the same time, we need to stop putting all these chemicals into all of our bodies and our systems and them being allowed. So it's one of those things where, yeah, totally off the subject, but those are some of my favorite essential oil reference guides and places that I like to learn about these essential oils so I can educate myself as well as share with others. So I hope that helps you guys out. I'm no way, you know, professional. It's just, like I said, what I have researched either on the internet, and then I go and I verify it with all of these reference guides. I have a whole bunch more back there, but these are kind of just my favorites that I find myself drawn to the most for, you know, researching and stuff. Not only because they're easier to use, but the information just seems to really like be hard hitting. So there you guys go. Thanks for watching. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Bye.